Alright, welcome back to 1Game+1, the Lean Awards, and wanted to demonstrate the heads up type thing for the season. Multiple things are going on here for the season. Definitely for all these young cats out there, they're being out there and then finance thing, that's an important thing, and changing your way of lifestyle type thing. I'm not a football person, but I'm just assuming. But in that type of sense, your warm-ups type thing, or more key type thing in that type of sense, just like Dragon Ball or Naruto and building up chakra or going to Super Saiyan, it takes a little bit of a moment type thing to put your body in gear to that type of thing so that you can go at full Olympic track speed out in the field. So you want to do your stretches type thing in that type of sense and get those ready so that you can loosen up your body properly type thing and then be ready to do that. And a lot of them are starting to end up with freakish hamstring pulls and freakish groin pulls and freakish ECLs type thing in that type of sense, because now they're in something that they haven't really practiced, and then they're putting too much weight on that pivot or turn type thing, and they're outstretching those ligaments type thing, like the piano string type thing going to the piano keys, and there's just twing, like off a guitar or on a piano thing, and that ligament through the muscle is just tearing and ripping out type thing in that type of sense. Torn ACL, you have to have surgery, then they have to basically get like some type of like biological polymer glue type thing along with the rest of the other tendon muscles type thing to put your leg back together, and so that it can regrow type thing, that muscle tissue will reattach itself. So that's not a pleasant thing type thing in that type of sense. And then after that you have to go through the physical and mental thing of conditioning your body back up to full speed, because now that's different parts of your ligaments being together type thing, so that you can run back at track 4.340 speed type thing. So that's very difficult type thing, but that's and to avoid that, you could just check yourself before you wreck yourself type thing, and do your stretches type thing in that type of sense, so you can get ready type thing and do those frog leg splits type thing, a groin injury thing, and then you would be ready type thing to play the season, and then we'd be loosened up to actually do Olympic lightning bolt speed type thing in that type of sense in the 100-meter dash, which is for us like in a 40-yard dash in a football combine type thing, and for plays running 40 yards in those all streets or wide receivers or cornerbacks and things like that without getting pulls and tears. At least a limited reduction type thing to it in a sense. Okay, got that out of the way type thing in that type of sense. Now from there, I want to talk about heads up type thing and other proper mechanics. And in this heads up type thing, they're showing the video type thing with this double fist thing and getting them used to a springboarding type thing in that type of sense. And always heads up type thing before you hit that. And that thing, what you want to do type thing, is more like a server with a tray type thing. You got your head and you got your tray type thing in that type of sense. Let's try another situation type thing of interaction. You've got your initiated hug and your head wrapping around and your hug type thing in that type of sense. And the same thing is with the tackle type thing, where you're going to initiate that contact with your shoulder, with that tray type thing, with your shoulder pad, and then you're going to finish your hug. And then you're going to take them down, type thing in that type of sense. You're going to use the pillow, let the pillow hit the ground first, and then you hit with it type thing, and you tackle them and put them down. Now, with Dungy style type of tackling type thing, with the team tackling, this should be effective. And so with that heads up type thing, it's not so much that your heads up type thing, well it is, because you don't want to take this and make your neck a slinky type thing to that operation and a crash dummy thing. But what you want to do is that you're not looking up type thing at them and taking the look up type thing and taking their body and their face type thing in that type of sense. What you want to do is you want to look up and like a right lane, left lane type thing, let them pass your face but not your shoulder, your shield arm type thing in that type of sense, like a SWAT type thing or a Roman guard, and let your face pass and let your shoulder hit through their gut type thing, wrap that up type thing, and wrap your family hug up and take them down. And that's what you want to do. You want to avoid their knees type thing in that type of sense, and avoid kneecap type thing or getting bell runged in the head type thing, but you can go ahead type thing and rodeo lasso that type of thing and just, well, probably not tossing type thing, in that type of sense. Now that's what you want to do type thing. And so yeah, you see them heads upping off the board, but what you want to do is you're off center type thing, and then you want to drive through in that type of sense. So get your shield thing, your hockey check type thing, up against the board, and then you're using you're not using your face for that. You're using your shoulder type thing to check them type thing into the board. And the same concept is in football. You're using this shoulder pad type thing as your lead type thing, and then you're wrapping your head around that type of thing, and you're suplexing them or body slamming them type thing or bookending them type from WWE. You're just like that. So now you want to make sure that your shoulder is in their gut type thing, and then drive on and get your wrap in type thing, get your hug in there. And, you know, it's not a hug unless you hold it for 10 seconds type thing, like 30 Rock or with Kenneth or something like that. Get on in there and then wrap that up type thing, and then put them down. So that's great logic type thing in rest of life too type thing. But I guess, and that's like a protection ad type thing. But in that type of sense, you also want to wrap up your family level type thing there, and then take them down. So I got a couple pillows type thing, and we got here type thing, you're here, like that type thing, that type of sense. And you just keep doing that as practice type thing. And then just like that type thing, that type of sense. And you just like sandbagging type thing. And then once you get used to it in its practice sense type thing, then you'll be able to deliver a heads-up tackle. Okay, that's what I wanted to talk about in the time that I was talking about heads-up tackle. I am kind of a 49ers fan, mainly because they're a team of talent and technique type thing. But on their defense, I want to point out to them type thing, when they get the lead type thing of late, they've got a little bit out of technique, and they kind of turn into basic, kind of thuggish out there, and there's a lot of face masking going out there, and that's not good. There's no reason to touch the grill of them type thing with a good heads-up tackle. So, and to rip and poke at them type thing in that sense. You want to take them down, but not like that. So, face masks are no longer 5-yard penalties. They're all 15, no matter the infraction type thing. So, if you do 3 face masks in a drive type thing, you gave them 15 times 3 yards. That's 45 yards. That's half the field in just penalty alone type thing, without them advancing the ball. And that's no good type thing. So I want to get on the defense about that, and I want to talk about, if I've got more time in this heads up, I'll talk about some, yeah, I do. I'll talk about the cornerbacks type thing. And I've got this other thing called Dimming Sage Block 9 type thing, learning blocks type thing, and they're perfect type thing in that type of sense, like a tic-tac-toe grid. Here is kind of a tic-tac-toe. You can think of this square out of the 9 type thing being the center square here, in that type of sense, and then going diagonal type thing, like beep, 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 beep. Like, oh, that's very nice. I think I did 3 by that. And so in that type of thing, from there we are looking at the cornerbacks and the nickel and why it's so important type thing. We live in a different age type thing in that type of sense, where you've got 2 of the main people type thing. That's your left side wide receiver type thing, and that's the left. And then your right side wide receiver type thing in that type of sense, and the first and second wide receiver in each play. But in that type of thing, boom, there's a tight end out there in that type of sense, and they're running around. They become, that's usually the first on the right side, right hand dominated type thing. That's second type thing, and then if the team has it, the tight end becomes the third receiver. Sometimes they go dual tight end in a Parcell set and then throw to them like the Patriots do, but they do that type of thing. You want to answer that type of thing, and that's with your first cornerback type thing, and that's against that, and then your second cornerback there type thing on the piece type thing. But usually they might put a linebacker or somebody on the tight end and hope that there's speed type thing on that, and that could be like Vernon Davis versus a linebacker, and that's not. They have speed, but like ball handling, radius turn type thing. When I mean radius turn, let's see if you can see me here type thing. A tight end is usually like 6'5", 260, 280 type thing. And a cornerback could get pushed out of the way in a basketball sense type thing, but their turn radius type thing in that type of sense, like getting underneath that rope and those rope techniques type thing in that type of sense, is fairly fast along with the play action people type thing. And you're going to put that in a motion on a turn radius type thing on a run type thing in that type of sense. And you're going to, and for a 6'5", 280 per person type thing, and that's not good math. So in that type of thing, you want to usually get somebody who's going to be more ball handling skills and technique and anti-technique type thing for interceptions, deflections, more than maybe the linebacker along with their pads to swing through. And a cornerback can definitely do that. And so with the first two cornerbacks who are in the base 4-3 or 3-4, but in this case we'll consider it 3-4, they sub out one of their linebackers type thing that goes to 3 linebackers with 3 down linemen, that's 6 people type thing, and then 5 people in the secondary type thing, 2 safeties and 2 main cornerbacks and the nickel cornerback. And that right there, now that's queen on queen action type thing in that type of sense. Now the fight's a little bit more even type thing, and if the radius turns type thing on that play action, and you've got this person type thing, the tight end without depending on the safeties, and they're a man-on-man person type thing, both receivers are covered, and the tight end is covered with their own individual person-to-person action type thing, being a tight end versus a nickel cornerback in this new passing, progressive, offensive age that we have type thing that requires the nickel defense. So in that, now you have, that's one person type thing, that's the third person down on your cornerback roster, and that's your first and your second cornerbacks here. There you go. So that's first and second. Those in the base 3-4, they're always there on the left and right side. Then that's the queen, that's the nickel cornerback. Then the dime package type thing subs out another linebacker for another cornerback, the dime cornerback. And the dime cornerback is like, yeah, that's whew, we had a lot of work to do there. That's even a higher grade of pass protection. And they come in, and out in the field is the dime cornerback, the nickel cornerback, and the 2 base cornerbacks for 4 cornerbacks plus the 2 safeties in pass protection. Now from there is also the backup injury reserve cornerback and special teams cornerback, the 5th cornerback down on the roster. And you want to make sure that your team has that so that they can be prepared if one gets injured type thing. Then they can move this up and move this up type thing here and still have 4 cornerbacks on the roster to handle a dime or nickel package. And now from that theory, it's now talking to the 49ers type thing about the offense type thing. You want to avoid the abuse of the Wildcat or the pistol. And what I mean by that type thing is from here, you've got a tight end again. Here, that's a tight end. And they might be on the play action long. And in that type of sense, you might have Frank Gore on the running back type thing as a 9. And then you have the quarterback here type thing, Kaepernick, and that's Vernon Davis. If he plays tight end, which he should, but they said they have faster tight ends this year. And I don't buy that. So that's the play action type thing. The quarterback fakes to the halfback type thing, Gore, and then they throw to Vernon Davis type thing there. Well, Vernon Davis technically can be made into a wide receiver. And they do have great tight ends. They're great people type thing. But in that type of sense, Vernon Davis's timing is different if he's not lining up in the first and second type thing and gaining a different intention type thing, and that's where his advantage was the bad matchups versus him. Anyway, that's a play action type thing. If the ball is faked towards throwing type thing and then given to the halfback, then that's a halfback draw. And so those are 2 different locations type thing. And in that type of sense, that's long and medium type thing, and then short. And with the abuse of the pistol, Kaepernick was keeping it himself and ignoring Vernon Davis or Gore type thing. Sometimes he would do the draw type thing, but most of the time we saw these big 80-yard plays type thing in that type of sense. And if he uses his best ability type thing, which is his speed, which it isn't, it's his Jake the Snake thing to throw on the run, come out of there, bootleg, and hit one of this in a halfback wheel or screen, or hit Vernon Davis long type thing in a play action. That's his strength. Throwing on the run is his best ability type thing, along with his arm and using his mind, and then having 2 options type thing on the field to divide up long or medium for their yardage. And anyway, that's the advantage. Thanks for listening to Dimming Sage Block 9 or 1d8 plus 1 Leon Awards. And please have a great one out there and enjoy your day.